Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
This meeting is being recorded.
Okay. ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ ਜੀ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਦਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਦੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਸੋ ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਆਪਣੇ speaker ਹੈਗੇ Jang. Jang Jaswal is the keynote speaker for us today. I've had the fortune to meeting him when he was living in San Jose for about 30 years. It was, we had beautiful pleasure to interact on many different times and different occasions. And, over the years, he's gone through some quite extensive challenges, and he will cover them and how he got lucky and blessed to have visited on the other side to make a very positive impact in his life. And he talks about also the surgeons and the people who did the surgery on him. I believe Stanford had rejected doing the surgery because it thought it was too complex, replacing heart and kidney at the same time. And he will talk about his doctor also in San Francisco who did the surgery. And guess what he was looking for in the back? He will cover that too in return. Not the money, but something a lot more important than that. So I think Jang, is your platform. Please feel free. We have a very few audience. They'll love to hear from you. We have Dr. Avtar Singh over here. We got Michael from the Bay Area too. All people looking to hear your journey and understand, how we can learn to live better so that prepare for the ultimate journey on the other side. All good.
Thank you, Paul. Sat Sri Akal to everybody. As Paul Bhai told, my name is Jang Jaswal, and I have lived in San Jose for quite a bit of time. Today I'm gonna share my story of bliss, blessings, and how everything happened. When there is a grace of God, things happen automatically. They roll around. I was born in India. I had my formal education there. And then I moved to Fiji Islands for like 6 years. And from there onwards to here. I came here in 1984. Soon after I came, it was very stressful when I came here. I couldn't get a job in my line and I had to do all the menial jobs, running around here and there. And my habits were not very good either. I would eat fried food, drink a lot of sodas. And in younger days, nobody thinks about these health issues. After I was here for about 4 or 5 years, maybe 3 or 4 years. Yeah. In 1989, I had my first heart attack. I was 32 years old at that time, pretty young. I was strong, I was big, and I don't know, it just happened. And in those days, procedures were pretty crude as compared to today. They were not doing angiogram everywhere. They moved me to San Francisco. They did angiogram one night. They kept me a night over there. Next day they did angiogram, and they found 2 blocks, and following day they did angioplasty. Stents were not approved at that time, and I was sent home. I followed their diet and schedule, whatever they wanted me to doctors. But soon
I understand. ये बहन के Indians prepare करके क्यों नहीं लेके आते?
There's some background noise over there. Somebody wants to say something.
And I just thought it's okay. I think somebody had just joined and they had not shut off their microphone. It's all good.
Okay.
I'm muting everybody else. Go ahead.
Thank you. And I was all right for a couple of years after that, but in 1992, I had again had another heart attack, and this time they put 2 stents in me, and I guess it was related to my lifestyle plus my genetics, whatever it was. I had very consistent history of getting my arteries blocked, atherosclerosis. In 97, again, I had blocked arteries, 2 of them. They put 2 more stents. And in year 2000, I had to undergo bypass surgery, triple bypass. The same year, I suffered 2 strokes within a period of 3 months. In one of my strokes, I lost my eyesight. I still don't have peripheral left side vision. And in other, I had a problem with my balance. I recovered from that. And again, I was good for like few years, 2-3 years. And in 2005, I had a heart attack again. I had again blocked arteries. Again in 2007, 8, 9, and 10. Every year I would get stented, 1 stent or 2 stents. Even the doctors, the doctor who was putting stents in me, I'm a Kaiser member. He knew me by my first name basis. And in 2010, my kidneys totally failed. And I went on dialysis, first on home dialysis. And then it's called peritoneal dialysis. For 2 years, I was on that dialysis. And then the clearance wasn't good enough. And they put me on hemodialysis, where I had to go to the dialysis center like 3 or 4 times a week for 3 hours at a time. By year 2013, I had grown very weak. I couldn't do anything at that stage. I'm even getting out of chair was a big challenge for me. I couldn't focus on TV. My brain was getting fogged up. I couldn't hold a conversation. And it was very hard to take few steps, going to the toilet or getting off the toilet. I needed some help in those taking care of my daily stuff. And at that stage, my case was forwarded to some of the hospitals around, but most of them, they refused because it was way too complicated in those days, and my health wasn't good either. So I didn't make a good candidate for any kind of a transplant. But somehow, doctors in UCSF, the director of heart transplant, he came across my case and he calls me home. He goes, Jang, I'm so-and-so, and I would like to meet you. If you want to come over here, I might have something for you. And me, my family members, we all went to him, and he told us, he goes, I can put LVAD. It's an artificial kind of a heart which takes over the function of left ventricle. And it's a big machine kind of a thing. It weighs like about more than a pound, 600 grams or something.
Jang bhai, can you adjust the camera, please?
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry.
We can't see you too much now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Hang on.
And can people ask questions? Can Sangat ask you a question anytime?
Yes, they can ask me any as we are going along.
Okay.
They can ask questions.
Thank you.
And he goes, I can put this LVAD in you, and if it works well, we might get you a new heart and kidney. And he goes, I haven't done this before in a dialysis patient. I haven't put LVAD. I have done it in 28 other patients, and results are pretty good. And he took me like a guinea pig, and I said, why not? Let's just try to do whatever we could do. And of course, after like third day, he put the LVAD in. I came out of the surgery, and slowly I started improving. I started walking slowly, like a block, 2 blocks, and even till a mile. After a few days, I started eating because I had stopped eating before, and my body has started preparing to die before this surgery. That's what I was told by my doctors. And when he checked me again, like after 3 months, he put me on a list for the organs, and I got my organs in 7 weeks, my heart and kidney. He calls me back again. And this time they did the surgery and put a new heart and new kidney. And once they did that, after that, everything went fine. But the thing is, I had an experience during that surgery, which we're going to talk about today. It was when I came out of the surgery, I was very happy. I had a peace, very peace of mind. And it was a certain kind of a joy inside me. Of course, the surgery went successful. That was one thing. But the joy I was feeling was beyond that. What happened during the surgery? Sometimes during that surgery, I don't know when, but I found myself, my presence, consciousness somewhere else. I don't know how to explain you guys, but I went to a different realm. The place I went to was a kind of a valley, and it had small hills all around it. And there was a light, source of light on one side. And there were clouds over me where I was. So, and slowly, the source of light came on top of me. And all the like questions which I had in my mind, like where I was and what I was doing here, kind of thing disappeared. I was communicating to somebody telepathically, not verbally. Physically, I wasn't not there. I didn't see my body there. All I saw was my consciousness. I was aware of what the things were going around. And I realized that I was talking to some superior being. And I couldn't see that superior being. All it was only I was communicating directly with that being, and all the questions which I had in my mind, they were answered instantly before even question will come in my mind. I would get the answer for that. And let me tell you, like my personality before, when I was a very proud man and arrogant, you can say is the right word. And I thought I was the most handsome person. I was the most intelligent and the strongest being around. I didn't have much respect for anybody else around me. I always looked down upon others all the time. And when I was having this experience, this superior being told me that you think you are the center of Earth, center of the universe, and everybody owes you something. Let me show you what universe is all about and what you are all about. And my presence goes in between the gap between the hills on the valley. And I see a whole of the universe, all the planets moving around. And as I saw the bigger picture of universe kind of thing, and I found myself like a minuscule, that kind of a feeling came in me that all the time I was thinking, I am the one kind of a thing, but how infinitesimally small I am as compared to the whole universe. At the same time, I saw my presence or myself going towards the center of that place, valley, where the light started shining directly on me. And at that stage, all the thoughts from my mind, they were gone. There were no good thoughts. There were no bad thoughts. My mind was just still. It was blank, you can say. And soon after that, this light had a light golden tinge to it. It was very calm, very soothing light. There was no heat in the light. Generally, light has some heat in it. And I felt like very blessed at that stage and very calm, very peaceful, very blissful. And soon after that, my existence started dissipating into the light.
Jang bhai, sorry to bother you. Get the camera thodi adjust kar lo. We would love to see you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. And the whole of my existence started melting into the light. And that was the experience, the best experience I have ever had in my life. And soon after, I got this communication that you have to go back. It's not your time yet. And I didn't see myself coming back into my body or anything like that. But after that, I don't remember anything else till I came back to my senses. I came out of anesthesia a day following my surgery. And my life totally changed with that experience. Maybe I'm not doing justice to the experience because I don't have proper words for the experience. See, it's hard to express any experience in words. Like if you taste sweet, something sweet, if we are asked to express in words how the person who has not ever tasted sweetness, how hard it would be for us to explain how sweet, what is taste sweet. It's the same thing I'm trying now to tell you guys, that it was such an experience. And whenever I go, even today, I think of that experience. It still gives me such a joy when I remember about it, and I get into that state of mind. And now, the important thing is how it has changed me. Mahal Paji might have experience. He has known me before and he has known me afterwards. And now I stay always happy. I enjoy the moment I'm in. And the other things which I told, I had questions in my mind when I was having this experience talking to the super being. When I was talking, I was told that all the answers for all your curiosities or questions is inside you. There's no answers outside, but answers are within. Try to find answers from within. And now I'm at a stage, today I was thinking, the kind of life I'm leading now is, I don't have any questions. We just manipulate questions in our mind all the time and we create doubt on ourselves or on our beliefs. And what I find that the thing is, I have started living like the Raza, ਰੱਬ ਦੀ ਰਜ਼ਾ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਰਹਿਣਾ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕਰਤਾ ਹੈਗਾ in Punjabi words, in the order, in the godly order or spiritual order. Instead of expecting anything in life, I have started accepting the way the life is going. I have tried controlling my life all the time, that if I do this, this will happen, it should happen this way. I'm a very calculating person like you. And so far, nothing worked in my life. But now, since I let it go and I have accepted his order, the things are working a lot better than they were when I was trying to do it. See, we tend to ask God for things. All of us do it. or this should happen this way. If this, please grace me these things or these ways, right? But now I have started believing in, let him decide which ways to what he gonna give us, what he's not gonna give, and accept it happily, whichever way it goes. Like if we get sick, we go to Gurdwara, we go to temple, we say, oh Babaji, help us with this problem. That prayers always work. I'm not saying prayers don't work, they always work. But for me, it worked the best when I let it go and I said, Babaji, you do whatever you have to do, whatever you have for me. Just I'll be happy in whichever way you keep me or wherever you keep me. And the things are so much better now than they were before. All the fears have been gone. The biggest fear in life is of dying, I guess, and all other fears are manipulation of that big fear. And somehow with the blessings of the God, that fear has gone to a lot of extent. I don't claim to be like 100% gone through all these fears, but most of the fears, and life is a lot better now. It's I enjoy the beautiful life much more now than I ever did in my life. And with this, I'm going to end my talk and let's start a discussion. If you guys have any questions, you guys can come up with questions and we'll build on that.
Well, sir, my name is Jaswal Bhatia. Congratulations to you. And thank you for this talk. And thank you, Charlie Color Project, to give me the opportunity to join you. And it's a great pleasure meeting you all. My question is very basic. Like you mentioned yourself, that you were eating all kind of foods and cocas and sodas, etc., etc. Apparently, that has helped you. That had a big effect on your health. But now, what do you think of that? Does that make a difference, or is it just the state of mind as you're talking about?
I have quit. Let me tell you honestly, I was a smoker. I used to smoke 2 packs a day before. And there was no control on my diet, no exercise, no nothing. But ever since for last 10 years or more than 10 years back, I quit everything. And it has helped a lot. But still, I go for my blood tests and all that, the numbers go up and down, but they stay pretty much in control. It definitely has something to do with the blessings of the God. Without the blessing, nothing, now I believe nothing happens. You could try whatever you want to try in your life. Until you get that blessings of the God, nothing will happen. Whenever the time is for certain things, they'll happen on that time and that way.
So are you saying that we should have no concern about what we eat and what we not, things like that?
No, I'm not saying that. But see, no. I'm saying if I quit, I only quit due to the blessing of the God. It didn't help me when I was trying to quit. It happened by itself. I tried quitting 10 times or more than 10 times in my life. But when I quit, I just quitted. And to that, I'm giving the credit to God rather than to myself. See, whatever happens now, I strongly believe is everything, doesn't matter what it is, it's all under the control of some superpower.
Nice.
Jang, I think the other way of looking at it is that to just PG's question or thoughts, even whatever happened before, what you were eating, smoking, not smoking, in God's master plan, that was part of the equation. You had to go through the challenges. You had to go through the surgery. You had to be awakened to the light so that you could help us, so that we don't have to kind of go through the process ourselves individually.
Yes.
So, like Babaji Bani says, Rabda Pala, acha lage, right? Just like Babaji rakh rahe hain.
That's all there is to it.
It's so much sense. It makes so much true sense. And thank you for sharing all these priceless, valuable jewels to us. Jasveer ji, please continue. And Michael also had a few questions. Let's make the most out of it of just Jang's time with all of us. Continue,
So
please.
my point simply was that we have still some responsibility to our health, what we eat, what we not, and we have to learn some lessons from there.
Ji.
That's the point I'm making. We don't have to wait to have that experience to happen.
No. I don't want anybody to go through that experience. That's why I'm sharing it with you guys.
You are the blessed one to have the experience, but most of us don't.
Yeah, just Virji, because the other gentleman that Jang knows, his name is Dr. Rajiv Party. So when he went on the other side, when he came back, the first thing he quit was alcohol and meat. He said, I was told, look, man, you continue, even hell will not accept you there. So he said, you don't have to go through my experience of pain and misery I went through. He said, accept what the teachings are of God, of Babaji, Malik, and try to live as much as you can by them. So I think Jung, continue, please. Sorry to.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Michael?
Oh, yeah. Jang, you're amazing. Okay.
Thank you.
And the most amazing thing about you is you surrendered to God.
That's what it is.
Yeah, that's a big deal. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys don't know me yet. I have, one would say, invested several decades in personal experience of consciousness and God.
Mm-hmm.
And as context for you all to me, I started into school as an aspiring science student. I thought I was going to do things like environmental impact statements or engineering or any kind of stuff like that. I was big in biology. I tutored math and chemistry in college. And I got big respect for Paul's background as a chemical engineer. It's like, whoa, man's got skills. Okay. So I had an awakening in the middle of university. I went, what am I doing this for?
Mm-hmm.
Long story short, I ended up with a bachelor's degree in comparative religion from a state university who had great teachers. Okay. Some were Indians, some were Americans, and all over the place, right? And the reason I did that is because I started, there's lots of terminology here that I'm going to just throw out. I want it to be simple. You had, among the people that I know, an NDE, a near-death experience, okay? For real. You're not the only person I know that's done this now. I know some good friends that have done this. And I always want to hear what you guys say because it's astounding. And I have had my own less traumatic experiences of God. And by the way, Jasbir, I resemble the remarks you were talking about, okay? The way you take care of yourself, it's like, it's really important. It is. And, I won't go into all my health needs, okay, but that's the idea. So Jang, your story stops me from thinking. That's what I need, man. Just stop me from thinking. Just live in the moment. Paul's nodding his head. Okay. Paul's got a clue about who I am because I overthink things and don't need to. And there's only some things that are in my control, most aren't. And that's a really tricky lesson for me because it comes up every moment of every day because I can see what's coming. I can see what's in the past. So I am astounded to be sitting with you all about this. And to give you something that Paul may not have told you about us, we met at a venture capital conference. And I was bored with the speaker. This context for me and Paul. Bored with the speaker. I walk out of the room. This guy's full of baloney. Go out in the hallway. There's this group of guys standing there. A guy looks like exactly like Paul, because it was Paul, in a tweedy jacket and a turtleneck, smiling a lot, staying in the hallway. I can tell by the body language, the guy's talking want Paul's attention. Paul's like, he's ambivalent about it. And out of the blue, when Paul senses a lapse in the conversation, he goes, I have a friend who does these unusual things. And do you know about her? And I'm like, yeah, I know her. And I went, whoa, wait, what? You know her? And he took me aside, he took me away from that group of people and showed me a video she'd made. I said, yeah, talk to her about it, right? So Paul and I met at a venture capital conference and we talk about God. Wait, what? That's never happened to me, man. Not that way. Okay, I met 2 or 3 other unusual people that way, but not quite that unusual. So that's how I came to sit with you today. Okay. Now, when I said religion, comparative religion, I know a little bit about Hinduism, I know a fair bit about American Indian traditions. I know something about Christianity. My senior advisor, who's a Near Eastern scholar, still know the guy, he's in his 70s now, actually close to 80s, I guess, taught classes on shamanism in the Bible. What? He was amazing. He still is amazing. And that's why I wanted to, one of the reasons why I switched. Mm-hmm. And I have sat with many people, sometimes well-known, sometimes not, about your experiences, and usually they're personal conversations. So I happen to know them, right? One of my friends had 3 E's, and she's just a remarkable person. And she's a business friend now too. So we met at a conference some years ago. So, okay, here's what I want to say. The constant thing that I hear with NDE people is it's really hard to describe. And although I've not had an NDE, I know from my own experiences, how do you describe the ineffable? You can't. You're not going to. Okay. You can talk around it. You can talk above it. You can talk below it. You can talk beside it. You can talk through it. Like your experience of the light, I've had experiences which are not dissimilar in meditation. When I talk with people, I ask them what their experience is because I want to hear that. Because one of Paul's abiding themes, and I don't want to put words in his mouth, but what he tells me is, we're all aspects of God. Yeah. We're all part of God. Yeah. But you really can't convey that to people unless they experience themselves. You can't tell them what's happening. They have to have a sense of themselves. Otherwise, they're not going to get it. And that's in every field that I've seen, every field. So it all comes down to values and what you value. So I think your story, Jang, is one of the most powerful I've ever heard because you were a self-described tough guy. You're thinking you're all that, you know. I resemble those remarks. Okay. You know, when I was a kid, you're 2 years younger than me, by the way. Okay. When I was a kid and figuring out my way through business, I was good at what I did. And the phrase that you would hear around my people would be the fair-haired boy, which is, you know, I used to have fair hair. But what happened is I eventually felt like that wasn't serving me. That's over a long time. So my senior paper in college was about the symbolism of ascension and flying in classical yoga traditions. And it was a thinly veiled study of levitation. I got away with it. So you're describing things in Indian literature, not necessarily Sikh traditions, but I don't know Sikh traditions, okay, which could be called cities. And you are a siddha. And those are the kinds of things that I studied because I'm like, what does that mean about reality? And I could talk for hours about this in Will unless you stop me. So I'm gonna stop now. Thank you, Jang.
May I have another couple of words, or somebody else has a question? Because I don't want to be overtaking everybody else. First of all, Michael, Austin is just the last name, or do you live in Austin?
No, Austin's my last name. I live on the peninsula between the ocean and Palo Alto.
Palo Alto, that side. We'll be
Yes.
visiting Austin next week. That's why. I'm in Florida, by the way. I'd like to share two quotes from Gurvani, since Mike mentioned about Sikh philosophy. It's a universal philosophy. There's nothing Sikh, Hindu, Muslim. It's all one. One thing is, हुक्म रजाई किव सचारा होए कि कूड़े टुटे पाल हुक्म रजाई चलना नानक लिखया नाल. That is to live within the hukam of the order of the cosmic order, cosmic place, is the way to live. Number one. Secondly, Sukhmani Sahib within Guru Granth Sahib says, Sarv dharm mein shresh dharm har ko naam jap kar nirmal karm. That is, the best of all religions or religious duties is to be conscious of God and live a righteous life. Righteous life would mean not life of ascetics, but normal human life, but in a positive way, in compassion, in love with everybody, in harmony with everybody. And then also I'll mention one more, three cardinal principles of Sikhism. Naam Japna, Kirt Kamani, Van Shakna. Once again, Naam Japna means stay in tune with God, be conscious of God. Earn your living by ethical means and share with others, or be charitable. These things, in our experience in my life, they are the greatest bliss they can give you greatest bliss. Every morning I get up, I don't have any near-death experience, God's sake, I may not need any, but every morning I experience that. When I get up in the morning, I open my eyes, I deep breath, I feel I'm alive and I'm well. I say, God, thank you so much for giving me another day, beautiful day. That's all. That's living in Hukum. I just want to share these thoughts with you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that what life should be all about. Thank God for giving us whatever He has given us. And like you said, Hukam Rajai Chalana. And that's if we adopt that thing in our lives, the life will run the best. I'm not saying that we quit on everything and do puja only or part only, like apne kirt karo, you do whatever work you are assigned, you are made for, and you'll do it the best way if you have the belief in God and you leave it to the God, rather than trying to control the things yourself in all the time.
Jang, that's very, very profound, very true. So I think Sharanjit ji, you had a question for Jang. Please feel free to ask. And Avtar and Dheeraj, if you have any, please.
No, I didn't have any question. I just was okay. I was just trying to see, because then he basically he answered in the following lines he spoke. So actually, when he said that it was not hot, it was not cold, but it was very bright. So I was just immediately reminded of the midnight sun, which is there when we visit Iceland, and that's huge amount of light, and that light is not at all having any kind of sensation. It's very calm, but he kept on explaining. So that thing went away. But it's really blissful experience. It's really blissful to be part of this presentation that Jang has given us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hello, this is Avtar Singh. I have a question for Jang ji.
Anji, chalo, go ahead.
Basically, two questions. One is, what's your perspective that you are the chosen one for this experience? How come very, very few have such experience?
I have no idea. I don't feel myself different from you or then different from anybody else. And my earlier life was very crude. Crude in the sense that I led a kind of a life which you would be surprised. I was a heavy drinker, heavy smoker. I would get angry very fast, pick up fights, all those kind of things I have gone through, right? And why I was picked, it's all he knows. I don't know. That's
Okay.
all. I'm glad that he chose me. But why I'm chosen, what I did anything special? People do prayers and all the religious things, rituals, whole of their lives. And most of them, they don't get any experience like that.
That's the reason I asked that question, because in our discussions, every time this question comes up, do I do something to get that experience? What do I do? Or do I leave everything to nature for it to happen? So
Yes.
that question is, because on one side, we are told God helps those who help themselves. So you have to make an effort. Gobind Singh Ji had to make an effort to fight now on the other hand, we are told that sab kuch chhad do paane te, they're two extremes.
Yes.
So where is the answer to this question, that how much I have to do as an effort and how much I have to leave as a pana? That's a that's the question.
Okay, you have to do everything within your control, right? See, but at the same time, you have to leave the things up to him, right? Like Gita says, that you do your duty and leave the results up to him. Don't expect anything out of that. Am I making any sense?
So you have to do your duty.
The thing is, whenever happens, it happens. Whatever happens, happens. But you keep on doing your job, your duties, whatever they are, like your prayers and whatever you've been taught, your efforts. You cannot sit idle and let the things happen.
Yes.
But the things gonna happen whenever they're gonna happen. Am I making any sense out of it?
Yeah. So basically, you have to do what you can do and what's your
you
duty.
can do, yes.
And then leave the results to to bigger power
Yes, yes.
without expecting the results.
Without expecting the results, to Almighty.
So it comes to, again, God helps those who help themselves. So you have to do something.
The thing is, we get frustrated, right? That whenever we are in a dire situations, if something good is happening, oh, Babaji bahut change hege, everything is going good with me, right? So then, if there is something which is not working the way you want it to work, then you say, Baba ji, मैं तो सदा तो पाठ पूजा करता रहा है, गुरुद्वारे आंदा रहा, I did all the things. Why then I'm not having my way? Isn't that common thing? It's our common thinking. See, and if we get rid of that kind of a thinking, or we make conditions with the God, that Babaji, you do this to me, and then I'll do this to you.
Don't
right?
bargain.
It's all conditions, right? So that what I'm saying is, leave those things to God. I'm not saying that you don't do your efforts.
Yeah. So in that regard, we have had discussions on Ardas. What's your perspective on Ardas? Is Ardas a kind of request to God or a demand that this is Ardas? We do Ardas ke eh mil jue, o mil jue, enna ne enna daan
That thing
ਕੀਤਾ
I told, like even Paiji came here to do part at my place, and I told Paiji, Ardas in the bolana menu a mil jue, o mil jue. Paiji bhai ਇਹ ਬੋਲੋ ਕਿ Baba ji ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਸ਼ੁਕਰ ਹੈ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਰੱਖਿਆ, under whatever conditions you have kept me, and whatever conditions or situations you're going to keep me, it's going to be all good. So that what in the beginning, what I said, instead of me deciding what's best for me, and then ask Babaji or super being to keep me those conditions, give me those conditions, right? I let Baba say, Babaji, you decide what's best for me, because I think he can decide much more better about me than I can do about myself. And leave it. So just say thank you. There should be a prayer more towards saying thank you than asking ki Baba ji sanu sari cheez sanu changi rakhiyo.
So in a nutshell, in your view,
I'm not trying to say whatever they are doing is doing wrong, whatever, I don't contradict them, and but if I have to do it, I'll do it this way. Ki Baba ji, it's all good. Whichever way you are keeping me, it's all good.
yeah. So
Whatever you
Ardas
want
is,
yeah, go ahead.
Ardas in your word is a thankfulness and not a demand.
Yes,
Absolutely.
yes,
Absolutely.
that's the way it should be
Yes.
taken.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next question, final question. I asked too many questions. You said all your questions were answered. What were the questions and what were the answers?
The question was, who am I, where I am? And the answer I got was that all the answers are within you. That's how all my answers were answered at that stage.
Within
Whom
you,
I was talking to.
No, but what were the answers within you? Did you find the answers?
And the more I look at within me these days, and that's what I was telling you, that there are no questions. Question kada hega, there's no questions. If you do it along with like earlier gentleman said, Baba Ji's Raza de bich chalana hai, Raji rehna hai. I hope you understanding what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, yeah.
So then there are no questions about anything.
Yes.
You
So
just are at peace.
yeah.
You are your mind is a lot quieter, and there are no waves, no ups, no downs.
Yeah, so that's, inconsistent with how I feel, that the questions don't get answered, the questions only gets dissolved.
Come again?
The questions don't get answered because there are no really real questions. They just get dissolved.
Yes, that what it is. There are no questions. They fade away.
Yeah. Yeah. So in a way, it's but I have reached the conclusion the questions are of the ego. When the ego get dissolved, there are no questions left.
There are no questions. Yeah, yeah.
That's
Question.
the
Yeah, you're right. It's about, you can say this is, yes, definitely related to, like, questions indirectly are to prove your point, and that comes to ego, the way
Right.
you are thinking. And when you submit yourself to the wish of Almighty, then there shouldn't be any questions. I guess we are on the same wavelength.
Correct. I just wanted to crystallize
Yeah,
your experience
definitely.
into.
There's a better way of putting whatever. You got a better control of vocabulary than I have.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you.
No,
I just want to quickly ask you, did your vital sign readings also change, like anything in your physical, like heartbeat?
Yes,
or all?
see, when, like I tell you, rejection of a heart in heart transplant cases is very common.
Ji.
It's very common. And I already have it, like what, now 8 years have passed, and I didn't have no sign of even slightest rejection. My body chemistry is pretty good as compared to other people of my age. It's better than that.
Mhm. Basically,
yes.
no change in the vital sign readings, but it was only a mind change which had made you more calm and blissful state started getting that thing.
I guess it's a combination of all the things. I'm more aware of my health. I take things in time, my medicines, and I check myself very often. Whatever the routine is, I follow the medical routine very well. And plus, on top of that, with this peace of mind and not worrying about anything has done a lot better to me. It's a holistic thing, I guess.
Yeah.
Thank you. I think that's holistic is a very powerful, speaks a lot to me. Thank you.
May I say a few words over here?
Yes, go ahead, sir.
Mr. Jaswal, it's very nice to learn about your experience. My background is a psychiatrist. Now I'm retired. I've almost practiced psychiatry more than 40 years.
May I ask where you are right now?
Right now I'm in Florida.
Florida.
I live here. But it's nice to hear your experiences. But none of my patients have actually talked about these kind of experiences, although I've seen big variety of patients. But my personal philosophy, which has helped always with me and on which I based my psychotherapy approach, was really when I started reflecting on Gurbani myself, especially Japji Sahib. Like, for example, Avtar Singh asked a question. The answer I found for that was, Ape bij ape hi khanan khud mein awaja. That we have to do the initiative. We have to do. locally we have to do whatever is required.
Yes.
And then leave rest in the hands of the Lord.
Yes.
And then, when Guru says, Hasandya, Khalandya, Pahanandya, Khavandya, Viche Hove Mukt, as you adopt the life of, doing life as it is and reducing your expectation to minimum, but doing your duties and not being attached to anything, the more joy becomes part of the life.
Yes.
And so a beautiful prayer which I have always used for myself and as often shared with my patients too, that God grant me the serenity to accept things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. That really is for me the guiding principle itself. No one knows actually who wrote it, but when I reflect on the Gurvani, same kind of things come in again and again in my mind, but different ways. Mantu Jot Srupa Apna Mool Pachan, Manjita Jagjit. They're said in different ways, different people express. But all boils down to is really do the what we can and maintain our faith. Manne ki gat kahin na jaye je ko kahe piche pachtaye. That's we read a lot Japji Sahib. Many of us do many parts of Japji Sahib. But the problem is we never take time to reflect upon it and see what is being said or discuss with each other. The more we do, I think we will appreciate Mr. Jang Jaswal's story. Thank you.
The thing is about attachment is very strong too. The more we are attached to anything or any relationship, it causes more despair in us. So the more detached we are, the closer we are to being calm and peaceful.
Jang, very, very true. That's why sometimes we just think about only two words, right, in our life. एक तरह अपना भला कर दो, रब शुक्र है तेरा, लाख लाख शुक्र है जो कुछ देता है, जिसे रखे है, जो कर रहे हैं, जो करा रहे हैं, everything you have ever done for all of us. If you look at it, it was always for our good. Okay, at that time it might look it was not, but if you look at any of our lives, everything that our God has always done for good, and that means the future He will always continue doing good because that's what He does. Duja ki God bless every soul in the universe, because when He blesses, then there's nothing to say. He knows what He has to do, how much, when, where, and how. There's really not much to say. And for since Paul Robb, for everybody who's Satsangat over here, next week we're gonna have Paul Robb come and talk. He's one of the only gentlemen who, like Babaji Bani says, although God is invisible, but who He wishes to show, He also shows them physically in some form too. And he's one of the guys whose things been opened, so you get to see and interact, and he will share his journey. And Jang and I, we have had pleasure meeting and spending time with him, I think. And also we're taking the word from Babaji Bani only, ki bhai, usi raza hai hai. And we learned so many great things from people like that who have had the experience, first-hand experience. This way we can always ask Jang, what was it, how was it, and all that stuff. Radevji, anything else? Anybody else, please?
Well, just you talked about the attachment. The attachment basically is the fear of losing it. You see, why attachment gives you misery is because you have the fear of losing it. Otherwise, if everything you believe in is all with you, then there's nothing to lose, there's nothing to be worried about.
Like
and
this
is the biggest thing. Once you accept it, there are no questions. Simple question, for example, if you're listening to a lecture of anybody, and if you accept whatever all he says, you have no questions. So acceptance is the very fundamental thing. And that's all I understood. And I think that in Jivan Mukta, what Dr. Saab said, just not Dr. Palsi, you have to experience it every minute, every day. And when you get up, you have the joy and peace. You live in gratitude. That's Mukti. There's no other Mukti.
Yes.
Thank you. I took the back.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Janji.
I had a big learning experience too from all of you guys.
Thank you. Nice.
Thank you very much for that.
Take
God
care.
bless.
God bless everybody.
God bless everybody.
Nanak Naam Chardi Kala, Tere Pane
Tere
Sarva.
Pane
Thank
Sabda
you.
Bhala.
Yes, exactly. Mhm.